no place is safe.
Nowhere we are safe. Such an horrendous incidents again happened.
वो mental torture जो है वो बहुत ज़्यादा होता है.
It is truly shocking.
It's atrocious.
Very, very shocking.
She was here on an assignment that has changed her life forever.
एक निरंतर प्रयास अब एकजुट होकर इस देश को करना पड़ेगा.
Good evening and welcome to the special edition of The Buck Stops Here. People across the country, young men and women especially, are out on the streets asking what has changed from Delhi to Mumbai. Remember those mammoth protests? What came of them? Yes, a new law is in place, but the horror of rape continues. Rape is a violation of fundamental freedoms. Over the next 60 minutes, we'll be looking at the impunity of rapists and the impotence of the system, asking what, if anything, has changed at all. Preeminent voices from across the country will be joining us. Also, coming up on the program, Amitabh Bachchan on whether the angry young man is now an angry citizen, whether his movie Satyagraha is actually about life imitating art or the other way around.
What has happened yesterday in Mumbai is just incredibly horrid. To have something happen like this is just absolutely abhorring to anybody. This should not happen at all.
Amitabh Bachchan speaking on the horror of the Mumbai rape that has evoked a terrible sense of deja vu. Through the day, we've been talking to citizens across the country, politicians, police officers, and above all, young women who are all asking the same thing. What happened to my right to live? In Delhi, she was all of 23. In Mumbai, she is all of 22. And yet, the question India is asking today is from Delhi to Mumbai, what has changed? This awful sense of deja vu, this awful assertion of rape as a mass weapon of control over women, putting obstacles in their path, preventing them from going about their business, doing their jobs, in this case a young photojournalist out on assignment. In many ways, apart from the trauma and the horror of rape and sexual abuse itself, rape violates the right to fundamental freedom. It violates the right to live. It violates the right of us women, girls and women, to go out as we want, with whom we want, in the clothes we want and where we want. We're all tired of being told, you shouldn't have gone out with so-and-so. You shouldn't have gone out dressed like this. Even in this case, some people have made absurd insinuations talking about why a young photojournalist was out at a deserted mill. Surely the questions should be put to the rapists and the perpetrators of abuse instead. Let's introduce our panel this evening as we ask whether anything has changed since that Delhi gang rape. Yes, we have a new law in place, but as we look at the impunity of rapists, is the system essentially impotent and failing to instill any sense of fear in those who are so without fear able to abuse young women? Joining us today is Supriya Sule. She's of course a Lok Sabha member of Parliament with the NCP. We're also joined from Mumbai today by Shweta Parulekar. She's with the Shiv Sena. We're also being joined by Flavia Agnes, well-known lawyer and activist. And we will soon be joined by Milind Deora, who's of course a minister in the government, Prasoon Joshi. And we're also going to hear from Paroma Mukherjee, who's a photojournalist herself, on what it means to live in the shadow of fear and have it constantly interfere with your right to life. Supriya Sule, we saw such massive protests after what happened in Delhi. We saw Parliament deliver a new law. And yet many people today are saying, what's changed? Has anything changed at all? Is my protest any good? Is the system so impotent that it cannot instill any sense of fear in those who are able to abuse women?
Oh, Barka, to be honest, I think we are all in shock and we are all almost devastated because we are all very proud Mumbaikars who believe that it's one of the safest cities, if not in the country, probably in the world. And it's a completely gender equal society in Mumbai. So I think we're all sort of still recovering from the shock of what has happened in Mumbai to this young girl. And don't forget, we're not just here as Member of Parliament, but I think today I stand here as a Mumbaikar who is a woman, who is a mother of a girl. So I think what I totally agree, I do respect and appreciate the frustration, because I feel the same frustration that every citizen of Mumbai today is going through. And I think I urge the government, whether it's the center or the state government, that we really need to get fast track courts. And I personally feel justice delayed is justice denied. So I think we aggressively need to get anybody who these perpetrators of any violence against any woman in this country, we have to have complete zero tolerance towards such people.
Prasoon Joshi, do you understand the sense of shock that Supriya Sule is talking about? Because in many ways, discourse around sexual violence has become platitudinous. It's become predictable. We all get angry. We all feel disgusted in our gut. But we all are beginning to feel helpless about whether we can stop this. And what's really disturbed me today is to hear young girls on the streets of Mumbai saying we won't go out after 8. Or our parents are telling us now, where are you right now? Who's with you? We're hearing that R.R. Patil is talking about police protection for female journalists. As a female journalist, I find this ridiculous. I want the freedom to be able to do my job. I don't want to be protected. I want to be free. Are we missing that crucial distinction?
No, first of all, I think one has to understand that rape and violence against women is not something which is suddenly come up. It has been part of our society. It has been part of history. It is not something which has suddenly come up, and to expect that it is going to disappear suddenly is also expecting miracle. But at the same time, one has to see, has there been increase, has there been rise, has there been some social changes which we need to understand. It is not only about violence against women. It's about the fact that there is a social change we are witnessing in front of us at this juncture. And is it just rape? Is it just sex? Is it something beyond that? Is it angst of one section against another section? Is it inequality? Is it when migration is happening from smaller towns? And I often see this in the people who suddenly have migrated from very small, villages and towns and very different culture, come to a society where suddenly they encounter women and who are freely moving around, and they see them as very differently than the milieu sees them.